Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all about parenting, good communication, and family relationship, all through the lens of self-government. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing how does growing up with one parent affect a child? In this video, I'm going to be talking about the effects many children experience but from being raised by just one parent, and I'm going to talk about things that you can do to make that child rearing opportunity with that one child even more productive and more positive. We can make a large list of possible effects that children could experience by being raised with one parent, but I think we'll just hit on a couple of the key ones now because I want to spend the majority of my time giving you something that you can do to mitigate those effects, to make sure that you don't have as many damaging effects in your family. Now, I know more than ever there are children who are being raised without both parents in the home, and there is a voluminous amount of data that actually backs up the positive effects on a child from intact families where both parents are present, loving, and supportive. Now, I know some people end up in a circumstance raising a child alone because things weren't the ideal, because someone wasn't present, supportive, or doing the things that they ought to do. And in that case, maybe sometimes the child is even better off away from the person. But that does not mean there might not be negative effects. If you look at data, there are things like decreasing the risk of suicide, increasing money that they'll make, increasing their chance of graduating high school, of going to college, of not doing drugs. All of those are kinds of things that actually are impacted by the family dynamic. When a child is raised in a single parent home, those things are even more likely to occur just because the one parent does not have the backup of that other parent. Also, fathers and mothers both uniquely give different types of traits to their children because fathers parent different than mothers, mothers parent different than fathers. So oftentimes mother will teach the child a lot more compassion and softness, and a father will teach their child grit and how to stick to something and how to do hard things. Now sometimes those roles, can be reversed, but either way, usually in a marriage relationship, opposites attract, and usually children need the differences between father and mother. If they don't have those differences, the effect can be lasting. Sometimes a child even struggles knowing who they are or how they fit into the world just because they didn't have proper attachment with their other parent figure. Another thing that happens in many homes where the parent is all by themselves is fatigue. The parent gets tired. They're the only one who's running all of the parenting. They don't have anybody to take over for them for a minute so that they can have a shower or something like that. And it can be really draining. And then when a person gets really drained, then they sometimes tend to go toward manipulation. Sometimes children who are raised in a home where there's only one parent will have a lot more drama, a lot more manipulation, because the parent is trying to find the quickest way to stop the problems because they feel short on time and they're oftentimes tired because they're all by themselves. So this can be a hard thing. Also, more drama can come in if it's a divorce situation. When the child visits one home and then visits another home, or people are coming in and out of the same home and the parenting is changing all the time and the bond is not there with the parents, with each other and the child all together all at the same time, the child feels a little bit disjointed. The child has to adapt all of the time to different things and doesn't have that structure and that security to hold on to that again gives them a basis for solving their problems and for their basic identity in the family. Their identity essentially ends up changing when they're with one person versus the other person. We also can't discount that the value, the love shown between mother and father actually gives to the child that helps them in their future relationships. So they are going to be developing relationships later on in their life. If they don't have a good example of what those relationships look like, it can actually be pretty catastrophic for them socially and relationally. When a person sees mother and father serve each other, love each other, respect each other, support each other, then they see what a functional relationship should look like, and they're way better off. So people who are raised in intact intact families do usually have a better opportunity of having a more intact family when they grow up. Just because they've seen it happen, they know how to do it. We've talked about a lot of effects. Now it's time to talk about what you can do to make sure that you alleviate some of these effects. Before we do that, click subscribe. This channel is full of content on improving your relationships with your children. You need this information even more than people who have intact families. So click on the subscribe now so that you will get the help that you need. So let's talk about what you can do, because you can do things. I work with single parents all the time, and they have great success at bonding closer to their children, having better open communication with their children, solving problems in a way that seems very secure for the child. We do this by learning self-government. So I actually have a whole course. I have a 3-day training that parents will come to where they learn to teach their children self-government. And by the way, you can find out about these things on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com. But let's talk about a few of the nuts and bolts now. So what are some of the nuts and bolts to self-government? Well, number one is understanding the roles in the family. Oftentimes when you are a single parent raising a child, the roles get confused. You start talking to your child as if they're another adult. You start asking them for their input on things because you want to bounce ideas off of somebody, and soon they start seeing themselves as equal to you. This can create a problem. If they see themselves as equal to you, then you will end up having dysfunction in your household. They need to know that they are the child, which is the learner, and that you are the teacher. I actually have a whole book that is dedicated to teaching how to get the roles in the right place in the family. And that book is called Roles: The Secret to Family, Business, and Social Success. So I highly recommend reading that book and making sure you institute some of the conversations that the characters in that book have. So what do we do to unify our relationships if we're not going to be friends with each other, but we're going to maintain that parental authority? Well, a lot of it has to do with good teaching and open communication. When you're teaching your child, they actually feel more secure. So you want to teach them all of the skills that they need for success and how to handle their problems in a calm, effective way. That does mean that you're going to want to be the example of that too. So learning about calmness yourself is going to be a great benefit. There are 4 basic skills that I teach parents to teach their children. And by the way, as parents, you need these too. These children's books each teach one of the 4 basic skills. So this red book teaches how to follow instructions. That's a 5-step process. You look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, do the task immediately, and then check back. This green book, Porter Earns a Quarter, teaches how to accept no answers and criticism. This blue book teaches how to accept consequences. A person cannot learn self-government if they do not get the opportunity to accept consequences. But you got to pick the right ones. That's the key thing. And then this purple book teaches how to disagree appropriately. So maybe they need to talk to you about something. Teach them the best way to do it so that it maintains parental authority, but they also get the understanding that they need. Each one of the 4 basic skills has a skill set attached to it. And when you teach your child all 4 of those 4 basic skills and the skill sets, that ends up taking care of 99% of their behavioral problems. Sounds pretty good, huh? And I've actually put it to the test because I've taken in treatment children, foster teenagers, who I had to do therapeutic treatment care for. And for a number of years, we focused on teaching all the youth that came through our home those 4 basic skills. We also taught them how to get themselves calm when they were going out of control. That's another skill set that needs to be learned and definitely should be taught to your children. We teach our children skills. This is huge. These skills actually help us achieve a goal as a family. So let's talk about how to set up a goal that will keep us pointed in the right direction and preserve our relationships. Usually when people have a good identity in their family, it's because they understand who their whole family is. Now, in this case, the family might just be 2 of you, or maybe it's 1 parent and multiple children. That can make it so that a person is not sure if they have a full identity. And it can be troubling for them. I know many parents who are raising their children alone will bring in other people to be good influences on their children and that kind of thing. But even so, they really can't take the place of that other figure that's supposed to be in the child's life. It's a normal human instinct to want attachment to both of the people that gave you life. That's just how it goes. I know because my husband was adopted and he still wanted to find the people who gave him life, even if they weren't the ones that raised him, and he loved the parents that did raise him. He just wanted to know. There was something inside him that kept calling out for him to know that thing. So how do you get everybody focused in the same direction? Well, in my Teaching Self-Government course, we do something called creating a vision. We create a vision of the future. It's this big picture of who we're becoming as adults one day, meaning the children in the picture are not children. They're children that are adults. We see our family moving forward and becoming something greater than each little moment right now. It gives us something to work on and to strive for. And then we have practices and we have family activities every week while we work on becoming that type of family. We also have meetings on a regular basis where we talk about how we're doing as progressing toward that goal that's in our family vision. We have 3 different meetings in our family every week. We have the couples meeting, which in your case, you would be doing with yourself or a trusted friend, or with God if you're a praying person. You would sit down and do an assessment. That's the couples meeting that couples do together. Then we also have the family meeting. This is where everyone gets together and talks about regulations that are going to be happening in the home, or maybe projects that we are working on together. Then comes the mentor meeting. The mentor meeting is the time where they get one-on-one conversation with you and they set goals for themselves. They strive for things so that they can become the best version of them. These are empowering meetings that help them see that they're moving in a forward direction and they lead toward increased bonding and attachment with you. What children need more than anything else, more than any rule, any school, any talent or side extracurricular activity, is attachment. And so if your time is short, if you're tired, if you're doing things all alone, have your highest priority be the attachment to your child. When you're correcting them and teaching them, be calm so that you can attach to them during those times, because they should feel closer to you during and after a correction than they even did before. Since you have stayed to the end of this video, I have a free gift for you. It is my Calm Parenting Toolkit. In the description below this video, there is a link. It's the top link, I think, and it says teachselfgov.com/toolkit. Click on that link right now and you will get my Calm Parenting Toolkit for free. There's 10 lessons in there that will get you started on learning self-government. Now, there's a whole lot more to learn after that Calm Parenting Toolkit, but that will at least get you going for free. So be sure to click on the link now, and I'll see you there.